Welcome to the Future Jobs podcast, where we explore the evolving world of work, creativity, and leadership. Today, we are joined by Barrett Matthews, a visionary content strategist, productivity expert, and media authority. As the founder of Media Boss, Barrett empowers entrepreneurs to amplify their voices, leverage multimedia platforms, and transform ideas into powerful digital legacies. In a world racing toward automation and AI, Barrett stands at the intersection of purpose and production, helping people stay relevant, creative, and impactful. Let's dive into the future of content, clarity, and conscious communication. With that, I welcome Dr. Barrett.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So, how are you, Dr. Barrett, and how are you feeling? Having the podcast second time with me.
I am doing marvelously well and improving, and I'm so grateful that you asked me to come back. I thank you for that.
Wonderful. So, Dr. Barrett, um, could you walk us through in your story?
Well, basically, I started in media back in college. Thought I wanted to be an architect at first, but then I got into media, and I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. Then I got out of college. I got a job at a local TV station in the Washington D.C. area, which was the number one station at the time, news station, and I enjoyed that. And while I was there, I got close to one of a person who became a mentor to me, James Brown, a sportscaster, who actually helped me get up to CBS Sports. And so I worked at CBS Sports as well, and it helped me a lot, just learning the ins and outs of TV and of corporate America. And that led me out of that because they ended up not renewing my contract, sadly. And I guess you could say I got into network marketing, which helped expose me to working for myself, to being my own boss. And that was the last time I ever worked a job. I've always been working for myself since then. And I got into the other areas of business, but media kept calling me back. No matter what, media kept calling me. So I ended up starting a company where I help other people produce media. I started doing my own, but I started helping other people produce media because I realized that media had evolved a lot from the time that I had started. So I knew people weren't really using it to its fullest capacity as far as its accessibility to them. And they were still waiting on other people to call on them to help to do stuff. And I said, you can do media yourself, and I can show you how. So that's what I started doing, and that's how Media Boss Pro was formed.
It's a really wonderful story. So, Dr. Barrett, I saw some of your pictures in the mosque. I don't know where that mosque was located in, but I
That was in
really
Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi, yeah. So I really like those pictures, like with my soul, and like I was very happy that a person who is like unfamiliar with the religion, with all this Islamic stuff, but is still going to visit the mosque. So how did that visiting the mosque impacted you on, and how that mosque showed the Islamic um, you know what do you say, the Islamic interfere.
Yeah, well, it wasn't about for me. It wasn't about a religious visit. It was just a cultural visit. I had a trip to Dubai, and I spent some time in Dubai. And one of the excursions that was offered was to go and visit Abu Dhabi and get a chance to see the mosque. And I have friends who had also done it, and they told me you have to go to the mosque. You have to go to the mosque, and I'm glad I did. It was beautiful. I mean, it was beautiful, and the culture, the architecture, the people, everything was wonderful, and I just had a great time there. We spent a lot of time. We spent a couple hours there, and it was just I did. You saw I took a lot of pictures, and it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed myself, and I would love to do it again. It was so much fun, and I enjoyed it. I recommend it to anyone who could get over there to spend some time going to Abu Dhabi and to the mosque.
Exactly, wonderful. What's a major myth people believe about content creation that actually holds them back from growth?
Well, that's a good question. What holds them back? Well, I think people think that they have to find something different and unique every day. And to be honest with you, there are people who make a lot of money with content creating just chronicling their daily activity. I'd rather you put something up than to put nothing up, waiting on something phenomenal to happen. Just put something up, put content up. If you got to write about something that's happening in your day, write about that in your day because someone out there is just waiting for you to put content out. And the longer you make them wait, the easier it is for them to go somewhere else.
Exactly. In a future where AI can generate content instantly, what role will human creativity and personal storytelling play?
Repeat that for me, please.
In a future where AI can generate content instantly, what role will human creativity and personal storytelling play?
Well, as someone once told me, they said AI will not replace you, but someone using AI can. So it's the best thing is that AI will not replace human creativity. AI gets its creativity from humans. And AI cannot have, at least not now, it cannot have the experiences that you have as a human. So AI can make up a story about something, but it really cannot have the experience. And that's the things that separates us from it right now is that we have experiences and the feelings of going through things, and that really can be conveyed differently when it comes from a human.
Exactly. As a founder of Media Boss, could you tell us more about, um, for especially for a person who is a content creator, like how he has to or she has to set up, everything, and what if they are beginner? So yeah,
What was the last part? What was what now?
like if they are beginner in content creation.
Oh well, if they're beginner, just like one thing I always recommend people do is just like what you're doing. Start a podcast. Start a podcast because with a podcast, and this is no disrespect to anyone out there, but with the podcast, it doesn't require as much thinking as other areas of content creation. And what I mean by that is that it's easy for you to sit down and talk about something that you like. It's easy for you can talk all day about something that you like. If I said to write a story about it, it may take you some time because now you have to think about what I'm writing. What am I doing this right? If I told you to put social media content, you're strategizing and thinking about it. But if I sit down and say, "Hey, let's talk about it," you can talk about what you like to do all the time, and you can put that in a podcast. Then you can take that podcast and repurpose it and put it into different areas, and that way you're creating other forms of media just by doing that. So as a beginner, I would definitely recommend just starting a podcast.
That's really amazing. So if someone has a message but lacks the confidence to share it, how do you help them overcome that fear?
Well, I don't say that I do help them overcome that fear, but but one thing I always tell people, get over yourself. Get over yourself because that anxiety that you have, because it's really not fear, it's anxiety. As my good friend Myron Golden said, fear is a danger. It's a caution over a present danger. You're in no danger, so it's not really a fear. It's anxiety. And the thing about anxiety is it's something that you made up in your head. It's not real. So, and I tell people that I'm like, you're making that up. It's not real. What's the worst that can happen to you if you start doing it? nothing's really going to happen. So I just tell people, just start it, just get it going, and you'll find out once you start doing it, you'll be like, well, okay, that was simple. I can do that again. I can do it again and again and again. So I just recommend just getting started with it and just doing it. Once you start doing it, it's real simple.
Exactly. Um, do you believe personal branding will more important than resumes in the future of hiring and entrepreneurship?
Say that one more time. Sorry.
Yeah. Do you believe personal branding will more important um, than resumes in the future of hiring and entrepreneurship?
I yeah, because people buy you, they don't buy a resume, and it's about you getting yourself out there. It's about you putting your mark on what's going on in the world, and it doesn't necessarily even matter the company name per se. It matters about you. I've had people comment to me about what I'm doing without even knowing the name of my company, but they know me and they know what my brand is associated with. So that's what it's about. It's about the personal branding that will help carry you further than they don't know what my resume is. They don't care. They only care about the fact that they learn what I do and they want to see about working with me.
Exactly. What advice would you give to someone who feels late to the game when it comes to creating content?
That you're not late to the game because there's always content. There have been there's been content put out for thousands of years, so it's not going anywhere. People have always put out content. We read their content all the time. If you read the Bible, if you read the Quran, if you read anything, that's content. If you read poetry from people that came thousands of years ago, that's content. So there's always going to be content. You're not late to the game. As long as people want information, then there will be content.
That's really wonderful. Guys, you're not late if you haven't started yet. You can still start it. So that Dr. Barrett, could you tell us which media um, content is the most trending content right now?
Well, video podcasts actually, and well, I guess I can put this together. Video content and the podcasting space is good because it allows people to see you and hear you. It can be used on different platforms, but also I would have to say AI tools in that area in podcasting as well. AI is really, really getting big in that area because it allows people to get more content out more frequently because of the AI tools. It's just something you have to be careful about because you have to fact check things, but it definitely can get things out a lot quicker and a lot smoother to people.
That's really wonderful, and actually, that's what I was expecting because uh, mostly in the YouTube homepage, if you see, even so, there are a lot of podcasts comes out, video podcasts are usually. So that is really wonderful the way it's thriving. So, Dr. Barrett, here's a question that you just mentioned. A video podcast is the most trending content right now. So, why haven't you started your own podcast?
Why haven't I? I have.
Yeah,
I've got 3 podcasts. You haven't done your research, buddy.
wonderful. So, could you tell us about that? How's your experience with the three podcast and what is it about? What is it about?
Well, I have the Media Boss podcast, which is where I interview high achieving leaders about their successes in business. I also have the Productive Podcaster, which is a podcast that talks to people about how they can do a podcast about anything. It doesn't really matter. There's no cookie cutter way to do a podcast. And I also have one that actually talked about the world. It's called The World We Share, where we talk about different things going on in the world. And I'm working on 2 other podcasts as we speak.
Wonderful, wonderful. It's really amazing, and you are also the part of this wonderful trend. So, what's one trend in media or branching that most people aren't paying attention to, but should be?
And I'm going back again to AI. A lot of people are afraid of AI, so they don't really look into it like they should. And AI is not going anywhere. It's actually going to get stronger and stronger. So it's one of those things that if you don't pay attention to it, it will leave you so far behind you're not going to be able to catch up anytime soon. So that's one of the areas I think that people really don't really pay as much attention to as they should. I have a friend. What he did, he took a whole year off to transform his business around AI to make sure that he could keep up. And I remember him saying to me, he said, for those people that didn't do it, they're going to be in trouble. So it's one of those things that you got to pay attention to.
Exactly. With the rise of short form content, do you think deep, long form conversations like podcasts are at risk, or are they rising in value?
I think it's cyclical. I think long form, short form, they come and go. It depends on the trends. It depends on and it depends on the people who want the content. So I think it comes and goes. I've seen people say, "Oh, you got to do long form content." Then, "Oh no, short form is the way to go." And then it comes back again, back around. It's cyclical. So this depends on when it comes up and down. But be ready. And what I recommend to people is be able to have both, have long form and short form content for whatever it is that you're doing.
Exactly. Like if someone is running the podcast and they upload long term conversations, so they can like um, make it shorts, in the form of shorts, and they can upload it on TikTok, on YouTube Shorts. So
Hmm.
they're having both, right?
Yep, you're right. You're absolutely right because you want to be able to reach the audiences that are look what they're looking for. Because if someone looks at your short and they enjoy it, they're going to want to see some long form. If you don't have any, you're in trouble. Someone may like your long form, but they don't have time to watch the whole thing right now, listen to the whole thing. So they may want to see it short. So you should have both.
Exactly. Um, there's a set that um, your content is more based on your thumbnail, and the first click when the viewer is doing on your video. So your first scene which comes in your at the first, if I don't know if I'm taking this correctly, so that has to be very greatly edited, and you can then be lazy with the other part of your video, so is that correct?
I'm not understanding what you're saying.
Like we have to apply more efforts in on the thumbnail of the video, and then we can be lazy with the other part of the video.
Well, I don't necessarily agree with being lazy, but it just, you're talking about with editing.
Yes.
No, I don't think you should be lazy, but it just depends on what you want to do. Like, for instance, I don't edit a lot of my podcasts because I don't want my audience to think that they have to be perfect. I want them to see mistakes. I want them to see errors. I want them to realize this is just organic. I'm just when I'm doing my podcast, I don't mind them seeing errors that go on. I don't need to edit it out. So it's not lazy. It's just the fact that I don't want them to think that they have to be perfect because a lot of people I've talked to so many people that are afraid to do podcasts or afraid to do any form of media because they think they have to be perfect. And I want them to realize you don't have to be perfect. Just be you because humans are imperfect, and so humans are going to be the ones paying attention to your media. So if you want the human to relate to you, then show them that you're just like they are. And that's why I don't do it. It's not laziness. It's just that I want to show them that I'm just like they are and they're just like me, so we can all do this.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's a great tip. um How do you balance visibility and vulnerability, especially as a thought leader in media?
Well, vulnerability only to be honest with you, vulnerability is only relevant if there's visibility, meaning that you can't be vulnerable in front of people unless you're visible to them. So they need to see you there in order for you to be in order for you to have that vulnerability. Otherwise, you're being by yourself, and it's not vulnerability unless there's another person. Unless there's someone else around, you're not vulnerable. So now what you're doing with the visibility is showing the people that you can be vulnerable in front of them. So you can't be vulnerable by yourself. So you have to have other people around. So what I do with media is I just provide a platform so they can be visible. Well, so they can be vulnerable. And what my job to do is to make it so they're more visible by putting it on places where they can be seen by other people and be heard and related to, hopefully, by other people. And that's the whole thing. It's just about you being able to be seen and showcased in different places so that you can open up to them and then they can see it, because that goes back to relatability. If people can see that you're willing to be vulnerable in front of them, they feel, hey, you know what? I can relate to this person because they opened up to me. Now I can open up to them, and that's how people grow communities.
Exactly. So wonderful. You are running your three podcasts, which is really wonderful. So can you um, give us some little advices according to your experiences with your podcast?
The best advice I can give anyone is start. The other thing is know why you're doing a podcast. I've had so many people start a podcast and then they quit a month later because they had really no objective behind doing the podcast. So if you're going to do a podcast, if you're doing it for money, have a plan to make money before you start. If you're doing it to get more leads for your business, have a plan to generate the leads. If you're doing it to get more visibility, then have a plan. If you're doing it to sell products, have a plan. So the thing is, understand why you're doing it. And I'm just going to tell you this: if you're doing it because you think it's fun to do and you just like the idea of talking like that, you will get bored with it quickly, because what will happen is you'll start doing it, then you won't feel like it one day, then you'll feel like it another time, you won't feel like it again. And what you don't understand is that people who listen to your podcast are expecting you to be there. And if you're not there, then you lose them to someone else.
Exactly, exactly. You mentioned about the money. So before getting into that point, so what was your why behind starting your own podcast?
Mine was lead generation. Mine was lead generation. I wanted to get people to contact me so that I can help them with their media.
So your podcast was based on your business, right?
Yes,
That was for
exactly.
your business.
Exactly. And usually
So
I
if
help produce
someone,
podcasts for that same reason.
wonderful. So you mentioned about quitting the podcast in a month or in a month later, some sort of that. Usually the time is between a month and the month later. If they wanna quit, they don't take that, more long than that. So if someone wants to earn money by their podcast, so what should they do with their podcast?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things you can do. You can sell products on your podcast. You can have guests that pay to come on your podcast. You can have a guest that sell on your podcast and give you a referral fee from selling to your audience. You can um, do events and have people pay to buy tickets from your podcast. And there are a lot of ways you can do it. Also, you can have sponsors, you can have advertisers, you can have partners. There's a lot of ways that you can generate income from the podcast. It's just that you have to have a plan to do so. If you don't have a plan, it's not going to happen.
Wonderful. So if someone is a beginner, I'm asking the beginner question again and again because we have a lot of beginners who are just starting the podcast, their content creation on YouTube, on different platforms. So especially in 2025. So if someone is beginner, a beginner podcaster on YouTube, and they have don't much YouTube subscribers and much followers, so how they can still get sponsorships and partners for their podcast?
Get a lot of people. If you're talking YouTube, I recommend getting a lot of people to watch your podcast. So at least get 1,000 people, because then YouTube will even start talking about monetization for you. Won't be a lot, but it'll get you going there. And then make phone calls, get on the phone, get on the horn, talk to people who you want to be sponsors, and give them a reason why they should be a sponsor. Talk about your reach, talk about how many people you can get them in front of. The great thing about YouTube is that when someone subscribes, you can actually find out who they are and send them a message. So that you can contact the clients, or the potential clients rather. If I can actually contact you, there's a chance that I can actually get you in a communication about doing business with you. That can go well when you're talking to a sponsor. Say, hey, I can get you in touch with my people. That's a good thing for a sponsor. They'll want to spend money with you. But there's a lot of things that you need to do as far as planning it out. But you're going to have to do some work as well. You can't just say, I'm going to put this YouTube up and people are going to pay me. That's why people quit, because they just think that it's just magic, that it works like that. And it doesn't work like that. You really have to have a plan.
Wonderful. So if someone is a beginner, they have to have at least 1,000 viewers on their YouTube. This is
It helps. It definitely
compulsory,
helps.
right?
It helps.
Wonderful. So thank you so much, Dr.
Thank you.
Barrett Matthews, for turning on for the second time and for
I appreciate
sharing your
it. All right.
insights, and especially about the media, about the content creation. It was mostly based on this podcast, especially was mostly based on the content creation, and the questions were, most of the questions were based on the big work for beginners. So the reason why, because we have a lot of beginners just starting out and are just confused that um, some content creation wants to just directly earn by whatever they are doing on YouTube, by whatever they are making the content with,
Mhm.
and so they're mixed community. I hope this podcast will help you with your um, or with all this stuff you have, confusing stuff in your mind. Dr. Barrett has just explained each and everything very deeply. So, guys, I will meet you soon, inshallah, with an amazing podcast, with another amazing guest, with an important topic to talk